Hey everyone, DFA here, welcome back to the channel, and today we are taking a look at the brand new Spanish premium cruiser, and it's fair to say that so far the Spanish cruisers have been pretty disappointing to say the least. Will this one be any different? Well, let's take a look at its stats to find out. And there we have the Numancia next to the Catalunya and a couple of other cruisers at tier 8, and immediately we notice this one gets a sonar, AA, but not the traditional scout plane of Spanish cruiser. Instead it gets precise aiming 1, and the main difference with the others is this one does not have a double burst but a triple burst. So that's actually pretty cool indeed. Precise aiming, it's a really good skill with that kind of thing, and I'm suspecting that combining with the burst and the triple burst will be very good indeed. It's also much smaller than the Catalunya, only 184 meters, so not as small as the Ochakov, but pretty small. Survivability pretty decent. Concealment 8.3 kilometers, that's actually pretty nice. You can improve that with your equipment setup, because your maneuverability it's pretty decent. It's fairly average across the board, so keep in mind we're comparing this with heavy cruisers, so you don't really have light cruiser maneuverability, but you are not that far indeed. In terms of guns, that's where things get a little bit more tricky. You get the same 203mm guns as the Catalunya, but you're only getting 7 of them. That's kind of compensated by the reload time of 9.5 seconds. And yeah, that's giving you a fairly comparable DPM in terms of HE, decent fire chance on your HE shells, so that could be an option, kind of, while your DPM it's still mediocre. Honestly, I wouldn't really rely too much on HE with that ship, and your AP, unfortunately, that's tanking quite a lot at only 36,000. So this is not a damage dealing ship. The range is also much smaller at 11 kilometers, and you don't get the scout plane to increase it. So this is not a damage dealer, no secondaries. You do get torpedoes with a range of 5 kilometers, so therefore self-defense, and they're pretty good at that, to be honest. And essentially in terms of AA, you're getting a bit more than Catalunya, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not amazing. So yeah, it's pretty average there as well. So let's take a look at that thing in action. And so yeah, when you think about it, when the Spanish cruisers were first released, they were very disappointing, and the double burst was not very good. But then the Bazan was released, the tier 10 premium destroyers, and that's where we were first introduced with the triple burst, and this one kind of changed things a bit. So yeah, let's see what that means for this one. So first of all, you see me play here with my press account and the nice, so it's not the historical camo, it's another one, but it's it's making it look kind of like a fish, but it's actually pretty nice, so it's okay. You see that it's a much smaller target than your typical tier 8 heavy cruiser indeed, and it's the maneuverability, it's actually, yeah, it's noticeably better, but still you are not a light cruiser, you are not really leading the charge, and you're kind of spending the first moments of the battle observing what is actually going to happen. Now, just like any heavy cruiser with 200mm guns, your primary targets are the other light and heavy cruisers of the enemy team, and we do have a few of them in front of us, so that's where we're going to have our battle. Essentially, so that's the kind of engagement that you want to force with that kind of ships, and you want to rely on your concealment to be getting as close as you can to them before you're surprising them. So let's take a couple of shots against that Torpedo who's not looking at us, and then we can actually take a look at the Arnachi. So yeah, this one is at 8 kilometers, that's a good range for us. I'm going to trigger my precise aiming, see how many shells we can put on target, and you're going to see the added value of the triple burst there, because this one is actually going to turn away. Is going to do what Japanese cruisers do, and we're actually going to use the last second of our precise aim to put 5, 10, 15 shells on target before we disengage. So the total reload is around 26 seconds once you use the triple burst. That's not bad, because it gives you plenty of time to look at the minimap, relocate, reset your concealment, and prepare for another engagement. So that's actually a pretty sweet deal what you're getting there. And so yeah, looking at the minimap, that Torpedes is totally not looking at us, so let's see if we can farm it. We're in an ideal position between two battleships, so if we have to hide, we can actually do that fairly easily. I completely misjudged this one, or was it lag? I think I hit something there, but I didn't record apparently. There you go, this one is a little bit better. So the accuracy on that thing, it's pretty decent, but it's nothing outstanding, because keep in mind, you do not have too many guns, you only have 7 of them. So slapping a target can be a little bit tricky, but you do have a magic button to do that. So let me see what we can do to the Torpedes. 13 and 20 out of 21 shots. So the whole thing with that ship is to time your triple burst, right? Because I did not do it well there, I was not able to finish the Torpedes. And you see that it's not always easy to hit weak spots with it, simply because there is a couple of seconds between your salvos. And so yeah, let's say you're going to fire the 3 of them around 4-5 seconds, that still gives the enemy target a bit of time to maneuver. But honestly, I think, yeah, there you go, that's precise aim on that Oregon city. And yeah, do get a couple of citadels. Keep in mind, I am using the legendary commander, the one which gets APCS plus. So many of you probably will not have that luxury. Yeah, let's see if we can. No, we cannot. I wanted to see if we could get another burst fire salvo within the last seconds of the precise aim, but it's not possible, unfortunately. So yeah, that's actually pretty nice, because the burst fire mechanic combines very, very well with precise aiming, and we're gonna put ourselves in a position to, you see again. So I'm going to activate it, and because I know that I will have to head to my base to defend it, so I'm going to give 3 salvos to that Cleveland bot at short range, and then I'm just going to disengage and go defend the base. So that's really how you use that triple burst, and for me it's completely changing the game of the Spanish cruisers. That's really what they should have been from the beginning. A little bit more maneuverable and getting a triple burst with a 20+ second reload to actually give you the opportunity to disengage and reset your concealment and re-engage with the triple burst as well. So yeah, let's see what that becomes against Benson. At that distance, the AP is not going to overpen, so it's very similar to German AP and German HE, meaning that the German HE is actually pretty crap. This one is bad as well. But look at what we have here, showing a nice broadside, triple burst, precise aim, 1, 2, and 3, and bye-bye. Unfortunately, I am now stuck with a 26 or 27 guns reload, and I do have the Japanese heavy cruiser that's looking at me thinking fresh meat. So yeah, you really have to bow tank and wait until the storm passes before you. So that's really the trade-off, and I think it's a very acceptable and very, very nice trade-off to make actually. So yeah, really, really interesting ship overall. Let's rate it together. So let's start with the fun. Is it a fun ship? Yes, it is. It is a lot more fun than than your average Spanish cruiser, I'm afraid. That was not very complicated. Yeah, it can be a bit frustrating because sometimes the damage output is just not there, but yeah, that's kind of, you get good games and you get some very, very average games where you feel you're not really hurting your enemy team, but still the triple burst mechanic combined with precise aim, the overall maneuverability of the thing, it's actually pretty interesting. Beginner friendliness, 3 stars out of 5. It's actually much easier to play than the other Spanish cruisers. A little bit more maneuverable, better concealment, better ability to dodge. So the survivability, it's a little bit improved with that thing. Free-to-play friendly, this is not a free-to-play friendly ship. The low damage output kind of forces you into using a legendary commander to get as many citadels as you can. The historical camo to get as much accuracy as you can. A premium repair kit, so yeah, you're kind of using the lot on that kind of ship. You won't have the same experience using it stock if I'm honest. And then finally, in terms of overall rating, 3 stars out of 5. Yeah, I really feel this is what Spanish cruisers should have been from the beginning. The triple burst, the precise aiming, the increase in maneuverability, decent survivability, but unfortunately this is not what they are. And yeah, I guess this is the first step in the right direction. It's a good ship, but just don't expect it to be your super overpowered damage dealer, because that thing it is not. So there you go, hope you've enjoyed it, and a couple of interesting things. Stay safe, take care, that was DFA signing out, bye bye.